Good morning, Paul. Good. Yeah, certainly it is. Technology this morning, is that all right? Morena, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd invite Barney Thomas to start us off with karakia.
Kia ora tātou, ki te wake ane rongo te whakaaro e te karakia e tīmatanga ki tēnei wā. Whakatau, whakatau, te ama ki te uta, te ama tātou. Ehi ana te a tātou e te o te haupu. Translated means cease the winds from the west, cease the winds from the south, that there be a calm breeze over the land and the sea, and may we have a beautiful day. It's beautiful. Sure.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Roger Ball, the Nelson Tasman Civil Defence Group Controller. With me today are representatives from Fire and Emergency New Zealand, Police, Ministry for Primary Industries and the Mayor of Tasman, Richard Kempthorne. I'm pleased to report that again we had a relatively quiet night. There were a couple of flare-ups as the wind picked up. These were promptly dealt with by the crews on the ground. I believe there has been a small breakout overnight. Fire and Emergency will speak to that shortly. In terms of progress towards conditional re-entry to the valleys, we will continue to work today in conjunction with FENZ and police regarding decisions on which properties can be safely accessed. As we said yesterday, this is a very complex task with about 200 properties involved, but we will work as quickly as possible to make calls as to whether people can get back on their properties. We are not in a position just now to advise on timeframes, but teams are working on risk assessment and a plan for conditional re-entry. I wish to assure the residents that this is our top priority. There will be another community meeting tonight at the Hope Community Church on Ranzau Road, starting at 7 p.m. The conditional re-entry for the valley areas will be the top of the agenda, and Mayor, along with myself and the agencies behind me, will be represented and on hand to outline the situation, where we've got to with our planning and answer any of the questions. Let me also mention that the Civil Defence Centre is open daily from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Richmond New Life Church on Wensley Road in Richmond. They'll be providing support and connecting people to the appropriate support agencies. The volunteer community in Nelson continues to provide amazing support to those affected. The suburb football club room at Saxton Field is open for affected residents that need assistance with grocery supplies, and we thank the team there for all the hard work that they are putting into also support our community. A lot of people are working very hard in hot, dangerous and unpleasant conditions. I want to express my personal thanks to all of those on the front line, from Fire and Emergency, Police, NZDF, DOC and many other organisations, including contractors. You do an amazing job. I had a rest day yesterday. I had a chance to catch up on social media and other media reporting. I would like to thank the media for the job that you are doing to help us keep the community informed. The other thing I found was that this gentleman here on my right, Mr. Paul Palmer, who was our signing interpreter, turns out to be quite a social media star. Paul is a constant support to our community and media briefings, and I thank him for his ongoing support. I'd like now to invite Fire and Emergency New Zealand to speak to you.
Yeah, morning everybody. Trevor Mitchell, Fire Controller for Fire and Emergency New Zealand. First off, just a little update on our injured firefighter that was hospitalised yesterday afternoon. He's recovering well, and in some very palatial hotels, I'm told. So far better than Tent City. Yesterday afternoon we had an increase in fire behaviour within the fire perimeter, and at about midnight last night we had a breach of our control line near Eve Valley, and the crews had pre-positioned there in the downwind of the fire and dealt with it quite quickly. It jumped across our control line into some forest cutover. So this is for us. This is the fire telling us that there's still the boss, there's still ruling us. The fire's still not contained, and we've still got quite a lot of work to do. So, thank you very much.
Are there any questions for fire and emergency before we pass on to police?
Our wind conditions today have gone back to what we had previously in the week, so we are hopeful that the conditions are going to be favourable again for us all day. The forecast is for that. It is a bit warmer again tomorrow, and windier on Friday, so yeah, we're working towards that. Our latest measurements are 2,400, and our perimeter has now been reassessed at about 33 kilometres. So as our mapping's getting better, we're getting around the edge of the fire more. We're getting more accurate information data. So, yeah. Absolutely, yep.
No further questions for friends. Ask police.
Good morning, Zane Hooper, Acting District Commander for Tasman, joined this morning by Lieutenant Colonel Lenehan from the New Zealand Army on behalf of the New Zealand Defence Force, who are here supporting the civil defence emergency. Last night, visits to every household in Wakefield went really well from our perspective, and we had great feedback from the community about the door-to-door that was undertaken. New Zealand Police, along with the New Zealand Defence Force personnel and the New Zealand Red Cross volunteers, handed out over 550 fact sheets. We completed last night about 3/4 of the town before we stopped the process just simply due to the time of day, and we'll return there later this evening when most residents are home and carry on undertaking that process. The response from the households that we visited was overwhelmingly positive, and the residents were very appreciative of the visits. The police presence in Wakefield remained high overnight, and there were no incidents of note or other matters of concern reported to the police. Available questions, and similarly, Lieutenant Colonel Leonard. The investigation into the two fires, one on Rabbit Island and one further here into the city, are currently ongoing. We have staff actively following up inquiries in relation to those investigations. So those inquiries are ongoing. We're speaking to a number of people.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Ministry for Primary Industries to speak to you.
Good morning all, I'm Charlotte Austin from Ministry for Primary Industries, Response Manager. Just an update on where we are with the animal welfare situation. We're not aware of any new animal welfare concerns since the re-entry of Wakefield, and this has been fantastic to see. Animal welfare officers will continue to be cordoned at the entry points to assist residential entry, and people are encouraged to report any animal welfare concerns that they do have to those officers cordoned there. We believe we've been in contact with everybody who has contacted us to lodge animal welfare concerns, and in some cases, if we have tried to call you back and been unable to reach you, please do access the 0800 number line again. The number is 0800 008 333 option 4, so please continue to use that number to get in contact with us to lodge those animals' concerns and to call back if you have not heard from us. Now, the SPCA and National Rescue Unit in Burt are reducing their numbers down, as we are very, very confident that there aren't too many cases of animals left that are not accounted for that need to be brought to the showgrounds. RNZ does continue to do an amazing job at the showgrounds. Many animals did return home yesterday, and the number of animals is down from 700 to approximately 300. Now, if you would prefer to leave your animals at the showgrounds, please do so. That facility is going to be running for as long as it is required. So it is obviously a very stressful time for those who cannot return home yet, and we urge people to access the support available. Now, this includes the support from the Rural Support Trust and Federated Farmers, Feedline, and NATE. We will also have MPI presence today at the Civil Defence Centre at Richmond New Life Church, so please come down and see us if you do have any concern. Thank you. Yesterday we fielded 180 calls, however we are getting reports through other means as well, so we had over 400 tasks several days ago. That number is continuing to increase. Thank you.
Thank you. The Mayor of Tasman.
Thank you, Roger, and good morning, everybody. So, of course, that is going to be a very long time in coming to a conclusion. The estimates are for the firefighting, it will be at least a month and most likely longer. You've all heard about hotspots. We've heard about the flare-up just on the Eves Valley perimeter. That's the valley I come from, where my brother is. So it's really helpful for me to know the constraints that the various authorities, when they're looking at re-entry for the valleys, are under to make sure people are safe. So I'm obviously really keen that people can get back into their homes in the valleys, but also really keen and supportive of fire and emergency and police when they're looking at when people can go in and how they can get back in. I'd like to thank Iwi and Barney and Shane. It's great to have you here today at the Iwi chairs, some of the Iwi chairs yesterday, and being very supportive, having had Whakatū Marae open, which I think is now closed, but that has been a tremendous support for the community. We have got the meeting tonight in the Hope Community Church at 7 o'clock. Everyone is welcome, whether it's people from Wakefield who want to ask about Wakefield issues or people from the valleys wanting to ask about the valley issues. We'll have them all in the one place and at the same time. I would also just like to point out that people in our community may be aware that the Brightwater Wine and Food Festival, which has thousands of people attending when it's on, has just been cancelled for this Sunday. However, one of the star attractions was the New Zealand Army Band, and they are still going to be here. They're coming in, and the Richmond Rotary, thank you very much for organising this, has got them coming into the Lord Rutherford Reserve Brightwater, and it's going to be on this Sunday at 4:30. So they are stunning musicians, and we really look forward to that. Could I encourage everyone who's been affected by this, come along and enjoy the band, and come along and share your experiences with each other and talk and communicate, which is part of the grief process and part of the recovery process. There's going to be a gold coin donation, free access, but a gold coin donation, which will be going into the Mayoral Relief Fund. And we've had some stunning finance coming into that fund. And yesterday, the Myanmar community in Nelson, and it was several different churches in the Myanmar community, contributed $6,900. And for that community, that is a huge amount of money because they are previously refugees. They arrived in New Zealand with the shirt on their back. For that contribution coming through to help people in our community is absolutely stunning. And I thank them for it, along with all the other organisations and groups that are contributing to that fund. I would also like to thank my new friend Paul. I have heard it rumoured that actually Paul can understand, people can understand me better through sign language than through my verbal presentation. Also, this one